welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Randy Buehler here with Brian David-Marshall. It's Saturday, the sun is out over Pro Tour-Valencia. All talk of the flood has now been replaced with talk of a crazy extended format. There's basically every deck you've ever heard of for the last 5 years here, and somebody's running it. You've been taking a look at the deck list. What is going on at this Pro Tour?
Well, I mean, first of all, we've got 424 players.
It's true. Biggest individual Pro Tour ever, thanks to that LCQ where the floodwaters are coming in. Scott Larrabee says, you're all in. You're all qualified. 19 people go through to the Pro Tour, so biggest individual Pro Tour ever.
15 extra people tips it over the edge. So I didn't have a chance to do a full metagame scout yet.
Okay.
But I took the S section.
Okay.
Of the deck
Last
file
names that start with S?
With the judges doing all their deck checks.
Okay.
And so there's 47 players in there.
Okay.
How many different deck archetypes were represented in that
Out of
section?
47.
Out of 47.
15?
21. So 47 players. And we had almost every other player.
An average of like 2 people per archetype.
Yeah. So we had Countertop, Blue-Green Tron, Blue-White Tron, Agroflow, Tog, Breakfast, Gift Rock, Ideal, Gruul, Goblin. Gruul is really red deck wins with Tarmogoyf, but we'll call it Gruul.
Sure.
Goblins, Rock, you know, just Rock. Boros deck wins, Miss America.
Wow.
Affinity, Guys Might Get There, Dredge, Agrolome, Chocolate Rain, Tooth and Nail, Pirates, and Teps.
The gang's all here?
So, like, I mean, we may have a case where, like, there's a different deck every 20 people in this tournament. That's about a little more than 10% of the field.
Sure.
21 different decks.
That's
there's a number of decks here that I still haven't seen that I know people are playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible that we're going to see 30 different decks in 40, reasonable numbers.
50, I'm not sure I can ever remember a Pro Tour where there was absolutely no consensus. Nobody has any idea what they're going to run into. Really, people are like, there's a million decks and I'm playing the one I know, or I'm playing the one I'm comfortable with, or, well, I'm going to play Dredge and hope I don't run into sideboard cards against it.
We talked to a number of players yesterday, or actually 2 days ago now.
Sure.
Who said, you know, we were playtesting, and like the American Super Team, which is not really an American Super Team.
Well,
but, you know, they couldn't come up with a consensus deck.
Right, they all started with the deck they thought they were interested in tested the hell out of the format, and then everybody stuck to the deck they started with.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I know this one better than everything else.
We talked to Mark Herberholtz on Thursday.
That's right.
And he was giving us an insight into the team, and you.
Yeah, I was actually watching Gabe Nassif, Herberholtz and Nassif are really 2 of the brainiest players on the tour right now. These guys love constructed. They get inside metagames. They figure out what's going on.
They've tag teamed multiple constructed formats over the last
done very well
years.
with each other. Actually, round 1, I watched a feature match. I was just watching over Gabe Nassif's shoulder, and you learn so much about a format just watching Gabe. Watching how he plays is always interesting, and why is he doing this? But just looking at the cards that go through his hands just tells you so much about the format to see what he's got based on his understanding of the format. Right. And he had some crazy stuff going on. Apparently, now what's the story? He and Heezy had a day left over.
How many times have you gone to a Pro Tour, Randy, and said, man, I wish I had 1 extra day to make a decision?
Oh, well, that wasn't my style. I was Mr. Preparation. I would never audible. In fact, I probably should have audible. There was one Worlds where I got shown the Trade When Awakening deck, stuck to my guns for the block constructed, played some Horsecraft combo deck, and 4-3 left me 1 match out of top 8. Anyway, I don't like to audible. I'd rather be prepared and know what I'm doing. But I mean, there's a lot of people that do. There's a lot of people that feel like you learn so much, and that day before the Pro Tour, and you're talking to everybody and just walking around and listening, you learn so much about the format.
And that's what Mark Herberholtz and Gabriel Nassif did.
Yeah.
I mean, they already had a really great understanding of the format with all these players, but then they got a broader understanding of what everyone else was playing in the world.
And then they got a day. The floods come in, suddenly there's 24 hours just inserted. They've got the information about the format now. They get 24 hours, and what did they do with it?
They built a meta deck.
Just totally from scratch.
Totally from scratch.
The 24-hour special. I like it.
Yeah.
24-hour special. Gabe Nassif, Mark Herberholtz get together. It's disruptive, it's duresses, it's Cabal Therapies, it's just every disruption card. It's got some red, it's got the Tarmogoyf for damage.
It's got a really sideboard that's designed to, you know, have a maximum spread against the field.
So it's going to be interesting. A million different decks out there. You got guys with an extra day trying to figure out what to do with this metagame. It's too soon to tell right now. We got a long day ahead of us. 10 rounds of extended coming up on Saturday before we get to that cut at 7-3. Gonna be a long day, gonna be a fun day. For Brian David-Marshall, I'm Randy Buehler. We'll be bringing all the action to you here from the Tournament Center.